How's it going there, everybody? It's Mr. Zan over here bringing you guys another Blue Exorcist discussion. And for today's segment, guys, we are going to be talking about Blue Exorcist Episode 1 of Season 2. The Kyoto Saga finally starts off really well and really entertaining. And it's always the A1 pictures. They always have very vividly and bright animation every time you're watching these episodes, due to the fact that, you know, in this episode we finally see Rin Okumura and Yuki Okumura. They're going back at it again with their own shenanigans that it's involving with the demons, exercising them. You know, Rin in this episode, it seemed that he seemed more childish in this episode. Like, honestly, he has that shonen cliche where he is proud and he sticks to his beliefs, but at the same time, you know, it just seems like it's kind of a mockery at the same time when you kind of look at it at him. You know, as you grow older and you're looking at it, it's like he does sound like a 15-year-old. He sounds like someone that, you know, that has these strong beliefs that he really does believe in, and he's gonna set out for them, but he does not think about the consequences of what's gonna happen. Because in this episode, folks, the reason I'm talking about Rin in that manner is because in this episode we're gonna be talking about the Impure King arc, and the Impure King arc is gonna develop into a whole arc in itself. It's going to involve brand new characters that are going to be involved. We actually got a brand new villain, which is Saburota Todo, and this character, he's I believe from the Kyoto branch, and he apparently was like a long lineage of family members that was taking care of the Impure King's left eye, or I believe it was right eye, one of the eyes, I forgot which one of the two. But the point is that he literally succumbed to the demons themselves because of the fact that his own weakness was the fact that he never got to live the life that he wanted to live with. You know, he was living the life that his ancestors have lived with, but he of course never doesn't want to do that anymore. And of course the demons of course took advantage of that situation. Of course he turned to the dark side, which I thought to myself is still entertaining because you finally get to see an exorcist that actually turns into an antagonist himself. But you know, of course in the Blue Exorcist, of course if you guys are reading throughout many of the actual manga, you can kind of say, you actually notice that there's going to be a lot more exorcists in the True Cross Academy that starts turning into antagonists. But I believe Saburota is the first main antagonist from the True Cross Academy members itself. And I have to say that Saburota Todo, it was very interesting to see how he was played out in this episode, because of the fact that he actually played on Yukio's weakness. We're going to be noticing more about Yukio himself in this arc itself, because of the fact we're going to be noticing that, you know, he's going to be implementing himself, and he's going to show himself that, you know, he also wants to be stronger than Rin, but at the same time he has to live his own life as well. But the point of the fact that Yukio himself is also noticing the fact that, you know, that he's actually a weak human. He's not as strong as how Rin is, because remember, Rin has the demon powers to make himself stand out amongst everybody else, so of course he kind of has some leverage to stand out. But Yukio, he's just a regular human, so he has to use his own wit, he has to use his own bravery, he has to use his own pride. Everything is all him, but yet the demons kind of explored that in this episode, and it was very powerful when freaking Saburota was actually talking to Yukio in this episode. Honestly, when you're looking at that part, you're here wondering as to, wow, Yukio could turn into a potential villain because of that specific weakness, that, you know, he sees himself as always weak. He sees himself as always a person that can never do anything. He can never succumb to somebody like his father or Rin, as they're always up ahead. But even that's why, if you guys notice the relationship between Yukio and Rin, you're always noticing that they're always arguing as to seeing who the better person is. But at the same time, these characters, they're always trying to better themselves, and that's how they actually, you know, become better throughout the rest of the story. That's how they're progressing. That's how they're actually better, so they get stronger morally and physically. Is because of the fact, you know, they look at themselves and say, you know, they have a giant goal that they want to accomplish. And the episode, like, I love the fact that, you know, that they were arguing, but it was small argument. But the thing with Yukio is that the fact that, you know, he is reasonable with Yukio. Rin really isn't, you know, of course, he's not as necessarily reasonable, because the fact, you know, he just has, like I said, he has that childish mentality and does not think of the consequences again. Like I said, Yukio, on the other hand, he does do that, but at the same time, it's also his biggest weakness, that he still hasn't overcome. Like I said, I'm loving the fact that they did that with the villain himself in this episode, and it kind of spanned on for, like I would say, the first half of the arc itself. It was pretty interesting in itself, and we finally got to see Mephisto, we finally got to see Shura again, we finally got to see all these characters again, and all these characters, you know, that they just only introduced them just, I would say, just to show them what's going to be happening and what's going to be going on in the next future episodes. But for this episode, it really focused more on Rin and Yukio's relationship as to how it's standing from the last arc itself. And granted, even the other characters, I believe was Bon, Shenmue, Izuma, Konekomaru, Renzo, they were introduced in this episode, but they were more along the line, as to say, as kind of giving the flashback for us viewers, because remember, we were left off from and a filler arc itself from the last season. So what they did with this specific episode, they kind of gave us a little bit of reminiscing as to showing us what happened with Augustus. You know, he was taking Rin away, and it was very, very emotional. Still, just looking back at that little scene, and a little flashback too. At the same time, you're just wondering, like, my God, you know, Rin, like I say, he does not think of the consequences. You know, he's looking at these characters and saying, you know, oh, we can still be friends, right? And of course, you know, he has to think about that these people, you know, they've been traumatized. He does not think about it. Like I said, you literally see the clear distinction between Rin and Yukio. And like I said, I'm loving how the episode was playing out with these two characters, and I'm loving the fact the villains were introduced here. Like I'm loving the fact that, you know, the plot itself was actually moving very quickly too at the same time. So you know for sure all of this story is going to be all canon. So I'm hoping that this season is not going to be just pure filler. Because remember, there's still a lot of dialogue that's going to be involved in later episodes itself. So I'm wondering too at the same time if they're going to be implementing some filler episodes in between some of the parts of the scene. But like I said though, guys, the episode itself was entertaining. I love that for a fact. And I love how Izumo actually cheered Rin up. That scene was just hilarious. I feel like that scene was a kicker up right there, because, you know, everything that's been going on throughout the whole entire episode was kind of degrading itself and putting characters down. You know, they're going through such emotional trauma right now. But yeah, Izumo, the one person that's always quiet and just does not talk to anybody, just happens to cheer everybody up. It's freaking hilarious. But like I said, guys, that's it for today's segment. I'm hoping you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I did. I'm going to be reviewing, or actually talking about, every single episode of Blue Exorcist that's going to be coming out. And I'm hoping as well, you guys, that let me know down in the comments too as to what are you guys' thoughts on the episode itself. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys think that they should have recapped on what happened the last season? Or, you know, or do you guys think that the episode itself is actually being justifiable? And even the soundtrack and the opening sequences of the anime itself was actually fairly entertaining. If you guys look at the anime intro, it was actually showcasing some of the future characters that are going to be introduced itself. And like I said, I was fangirling. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was really fangirling every time I was looking at the freaking OP entrance. Like, oh my God, it was pretty entertaining. But like I said, guys, let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys enjoy my content, give a like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Blue Exorcist discussions. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. But this is Mr. Zen, signing out. Thank you.